One at a time, please. Okay. So where's my, there we go. That's what we're doing today. So, I'm going to play you something a little bit quickly here, and then, or at the correct tempo. And then we'll get started. But yeah, my name's Chris Mills. Thanks for that lovely introduction. And a big round of applause for Alex and Jessica. That was amazing. That was great. Liquor, I've got everything. So this is a song about being where you are when you are there. It's about being present. Lots of times we're in places and our mind is somewhere else and someone is talking to us and we are thinking about what we have for breakfast, something like that. This is a song about being really in the moment with whoever you are with. It's called Blooms. There was a time not long ago, I was a wraith, I was a shadow. In the darkness of the day, I wandered lost like a refugee. But now I know where I am bound. I'm headed up and I'm headed out. The escape that I have found is to be here with you now. Bloody blooms in the whites of my eyes, maps and compass points in my mind, rearranged and left for dead. All at once I was washed away, but now I know where I am bound. I'm headed up and I'm headed out. The salvation I have found is to be here with you now. This is where the guitar solo goes. Now I know where I am bound. I'm headed up and I'm headed out. The escape that I have found is to be here with you now. The salvation I have found is to be here with you now. Is to be here with you now. Is to be here with you now. Thank you. Thanks very much. So yeah, my name is Chris Mills. I am a songwriter. And I have a remote control for this. Chris Mills, songwriter, performer. And yes, I've been writing songs for 20 years. I started when I was in high school. And I've traveled all over the world. It's been amazing. I love writing songs. I love talking to people about writing songs. Before I was writing songs, I was a kid. Before that, I was a baby. After I was a baby, I was a kid. And I was a lonely kid. My dad was in the Army. We moved around a lot. I felt very lonely a lot of the time because we would live somewhere for a couple of years, and then I would make a bunch of friends, and then we would leave, and then we would go somewhere else. So I didn't feel really connected to anything until I discovered music. And I got into people like Bob Dylan and Lou Reed and people like that because they started to sing about things that I recognized. I didn't know them. I didn't know anything about them. I just heard the songs on the radio. I had records. But things that they were talking about somehow connected to me and made me feel like maybe there was somebody else in the world that knew what I was going through, that had been through what I was going through. So when I started to play music and I started to write songs, I wanted to write things that made other people feel like that. Even if I never met them, that made them feel like there was someone else that knew them, that knew what they were going through. So I played in bands, I got a record deal, toured a bunch, and then ended up here at Libertyville High School. You're lucky. It didn't take you as long to get here. So what we're going to talk about today is who should write songs, why you should write songs if you want to do it, and then a little bit about how you do it. So you may be saying to yourself, I don't know anything about writing songs. I can't write songs. I'm sure you have lots of teachers that tell you you can do whatever you want. That might not be true, but what you can do is write songs. So I find that a lot of people, when they're thinking about creative things, think that they're things that other people can do, think that they're things that they don't have the talent, they don't have whatever, the inspiration. I'm going to tell you why that is not important. So anybody can write a song. Anybody who wrote a song was once someone who had never written a song, right? If you have feelings, if you have a point of view, if you see something in the world that you want to talk about, write a song about it. Why? Because songs are an amazingly effective way to help people understand how you feel and help people understand that you know how they feel. If you don't have a point of view about anything, write a song about that. If you don't have any feelings, write songs for robots. It's fine. They need songs too. Songs speak to people in ways that other things don't. Why? Because they're connected to music. Music affects your brain in ways that no other art form, no other way of communication affects you. When you sing a song, there's melody, there's rhythm, there's language. All of these things are processed in different parts of your brain. So you hear a song, it's taken apart. One part of your brain processes what the rhythm is, one part of your brain processes what the melody is, one part of your brain processes what the words are saying, and then they put them all back together. And because it travels so far in your brain and touches so many different parts of who you are, it sticks to your memories, right? So that's where I'm going to get to. When you write a song, you get to tell 3 stories. You get to tell the story that you're writing about, but then the listener also gets a different story, right? So when you hear a song, what's your favorite song? What's a song that you know? Wagon Wheel by Dylan. Yeah, it's a great song, right? Do you know what Dylan was thinking about when he was writing that? What do you think about when you hear it? Think about America? Yeah, think about America, USA, whatever. Great. Okay, so already we've got 2 stories. We've got whatever Bob Dylan was thinking about when he wrote the song Wagon Wheel, right? You have no way of knowing unless you ask him, I guess. If you meet him, go for it. Then you have what this guy thinks it's about. Then it's about America, right? Where were you when you first heard that song? You can't remember, but you heard it at some point in your life now in high school. Yeah. So 10 years from now, when he hears Wagon Wheel, he's going to think back to, man, that's a song I really loved in high school. That song about America, that I think is about America, that Bob Dylan may think about is something completely different, right? So you have your vision, you have the vision that the listener gives the song, and then you have that place in time, right? So there's another Dylan song called Simple Twist of Fate. And let's see if I can remember it. Exactly. Sat together in the park as the evening sky grew dark. She looked at me and I felt a spark tingle to my bones. Then I felt alone and wished that I'd gone straight and forgot about the simple twist of fate, right? It's beautiful. I don't know why I loved it when I was... So every time I hear that song, I think about, the wistful... I don't know why when I was 14, I was romantic, and I saw this vision of this couple, and it was bittersweet, and that was my story of what the song was about, right? Dylan may have had a completely different story. But now when I hear that song, I also have the story of when I was 16, and I was leaving my girlfriend's house in the rain, and I spun out and wrecked my dad's car. So that's what that song is about for me. So you get all these bonus things when you create a song and put it out into the world. Also, you get to be selfish when you write songs. Who likes to be selfish? Everyone. Do not lie to me or yourself. Songs help you get in touch with who you are, right? Other people's songs, when you listen to them, help you understand a little bit more about yourself. Songs, when you write them, help you understand more about yourself. They help other people too. But who cares? They help you. All right. So I want to talk a little bit now about where songs come from. I wrote a lot of notes I don't think I need. So songs come from anywhere, right? Anything can be a song. Anything can be turned into a song. Anything you experience, anything you feel, right? To collect material for writing, this isn't just songwriting, this is any kind of writing. To gather the material, you have to experience things, right? You have to see movies, you have to watch TV. That does count as experiencing things. Don't let anybody tell you different. I watched tons of television as a kid. Read poetry, read books, read magazines, go to plays, go to amusement parks, get out in the world, do things, stay home and do things, and collect all of those things that you see and hold on to them. Also, very important for being creative, for writing songs, for writing anything else, just for being a person, take time for yourself. Once you've collected all the material, take time to think about it. Take walks, take naps, ride your bike. I've written so many songs riding my bike, I can't even tell you. Then, write. Write as much as you can. Write nonsense. Write things that make sense. And try and generate ideas. The more ideas you have, the more images you have for your songs. We're going to talk about that in a second. Also, if this is something that you want to do, don't listen to the haters. And by that I mean, don't listen to your critics. And the biggest critic you're going to have is yourself, right? Who here has told themselves that they're not good at something? Right? Why listen to yourself? What do you know? Right? But right, you're always going around, we're always walking around going, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I don't have the experience. I don't have the qualifications, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's complete malarkey. Do kids know the word malarkey these days? It's nonsense. Experts are a myth when it comes to things about yourself and creating things, right? You are a human. You are just Bob. Bob Dylan was once a kid in high school, right? 21 Pilots all went to high school. And now they're famous, or whatever they are. Is inspiration important? No. Who thinks inspiration is important? It's not. No, I'm just kidding. Inspiration is great. Inspiration is amazing. Being tortured, being a kid and having, or not a kid, being a young adult, having big feelings, having things happen to you that change your mood and change the way that you think about things is awesome. Someday you are going to be old and you are going to be boring. Not boring, but you're going to be settled. And you're not going to have dramatic things happening to you all the time. So if you want to be a writer, you have to learn how to write when nothing's happening to you. Right? I used to be more adventurous than I am today because I was in my 20s. I didn't have a wife. I didn't have a child. I'm very adventurous now, but I can't destroy my relationship in order to write a really heartbreaking song, right? When I was younger, I could. Didn't work out great, but still, I got some amazing songs out of it. So what I really want to talk to you about today, and I'm taking a long time to get there, is what do you do when you don't have any ideas? You want to write something, you want to write a song, you want to write a story. What do you do? Well, what are these things? What are songs and stories? They're images that writers create that speak to you. So, you want to have a lot of images in your bag, right? Where do they come from? How do you get them? All communication uses these images of some sort, right? What did I put up there? The word apple isn't an apple, is it? No, what is it? It's a word that stands for what? An apple. You can't eat the word apple. You can't carve the word apple. You can't throw the word apple at anybody, right? But when you see the word apple, what do you experience? Right? You can tell how it tastes. You can tell what it feels like in your mouth. You can hold it in your hand, right? So what you want to do when you're writing songs and when you're writing stories, when you're writing anything, is create images that people can then apply to themselves and to their own experience, right? You want to create strong images that resonate with people. And the more of those images you have when you're writing something, the more you can flesh out the world of what you're writing. I call it song world, call it whatever you want. The more real your world is to you, the more real it's going to be to the person that hears your song, that reads your story. Okay? Do we use tricks? No, we use methods. Here are some of them. When you're creating a song, you've got, 3 minutes to tell your story? Right? Let's put up, can you put up the iTunes? Does that work? We're going to listen to something and then we're going to kind of talk about it for a second. Hello? Do you want to hear Adele or do you want to hear 21 Pilots? Adele. No, okay. Raise hands for Adele. Raise hands for 21 Pilots. It's 21 Pilots. All right. Let's do that. Yes, no? All right, settle down, settle down, settle down. Let's talk about happy birthday. It's his birthday. It's this guy's birthday. Does anybody know the song Happy Birthday? Right? We're not going to sing it. We're going to talk about it. Now let's sing it. What's your name? Michael. Everybody sing happy birthday to Michael, and then we're going to talk about happy birthday. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Okay, so what information do you have in that song? It's 4 lines. What's today? Oh, guys, calm down, calm down. Seriously, this is serious. Sort of. It's sort of serious. What information do you have? So you know what day it is, right? It's somebody's birthday, right? Is it supposed to be what kind of day do you want it to be? Happy. Whose birthday is it? Michael's. Is he a stranger or is he meaningful to you? He's dear Michael, right? So in 4 lines, you have all of this information already about the day. Let's see if we can find out some stuff about 21 Pilots. Uh-oh. Bowie. All right. Yeah, let's go with Bowie. Can you do Space Oddity? Just listen a little bit and try and see what images you're getting and how you're getting them.
Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. Commencing countdown, engines on. Check ignition and may God's love be with you. This is...
All right, so already we're like 4 lines in. What do we know? Who's the guy in the song? Major Tom. Yeah, what's his job? He's an astronaut. How do you know he's an astronaut? Talking to ground control. I've got a mic. I don't know why I'm doing this. So when you're writing songs, you have a really short time in order to start building out the world of your song, right? You've got like 3 or 4 minutes. You've got maybe 20 lines, and you're trying to tell a whole story. Okay? So did he say, "My name's Tom and I'm an astronaut"? Let's bring the keynote. Can you bring the keynote back up? No. Ground control to Major Tom already produces an image for you, right? When you think of ground control, what do you think of? NASA. Did they still talk about the space program? So you think of NASA, you think of spaceships, you think of what else? Think of Mr. Schmidt, you think of outer space, right? Think of Mr. Schmidt. So without even really saying anything, he's already fleshed out this whole world, right? Major Tom, obviously in a spaceship, right? Talking to ground control. gonna go on a flight. He's taking his protein pills. And because of the music, it already feels a little ominous. But when I think about space, you know, what else do you think about? The coldness, the darkness. The mood is already starting to be set. So how's he doing it? He's being explicit. He's saying, I'm talking to ground control. It's a very important detail. It's very, very specific. You hear ground control, we're talking about space, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What else is he doing? He's being vague, right? First, you want to be explicit. You want to use strong images that you automatically connect to things. Then you want to be vague. You don't want to give it all away because you want to keep people interested, and you also want them to start to internalize the story and apply that to their own lives, right? We haven't gotten to this part of the song, but here's another thing that's good to remember when you're trying to build strong images. Using opposites and contrasts. Make big things small, make small things big. For Space Oddity, does everybody sort of know this song? Okay, so this is a song about a guy in a space capsule, and he goes off, and something goes wrong, and he floats off into outer space. It's an upper. But as you go through the song, you hear details about his family and about how much he loves them and how much he misses them and how as he's floating off. So they're using this sort of big expanse of space and this big disaster to start to talk about something very personal about the guy in this song. Is any of this making sense? No? Yes? Yes, no. We're gonna try. I'm gonna try and move it along here a little bit snappier. So these are just methods, things that you use or can use when you're writing a song. A great one is A to B to C. When you're trying to come up with an image, you start with something. You think of something else associated with it, and then you think of something associated with the second thing. So, like, I want to write a song about desire, right? So what does desire remind me of? Hunger, right? That's another word for desire. You want something, you're hungry for something. When I'm hungry for something, what do I think of? Sandwiches. So now I can kind of start writing and think about sandwiches, or start writing about sandwiches to really express what I'm trying to say about desire, right? I don't want you, but if you're a sandwich, I would. I would have you for lunch. You would be so good. I don't know. There you go. That brings me to my last one. Or not my last one, but the next one. No idea is too dumb, right? No idea is too dumb to start with. Sometimes the dumbest ideas become the best songs, right? Here's one, and you guys may know this already, but and you know this one. It's yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away. Now it seems as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Do you know that song? Right? One of the most famous songs ever written. Do you know the original words to that song? Some of you might. Yeah, right? Scrambled eggs. Oh, my lady, how I love your legs. You know, that's where that started. And now it is the most recorded song in the history of the world. Right? So what would have happened if Paul McCartney sat down and was like, scrambled eggs, this is dumb. I'm going to stop now. You wouldn't have yesterday, right? So you want to follow every idea until you're bored. You want to chase them down. If you have an idea for scrambled eggs, you want to keep thinking about it until it turns into yesterday, or until you just decide it's not going anywhere. And then this last one is probably the most important one, right? Use all these methods, but only if you're going to be honest, right? So it doesn't matter if it's silly or if it's nonsensical or if it's not going anywhere. As long as you're honest when you do it, when you write it, or get to a place where you can be honest, then other people are going to recognize that honesty and recognize those emotions, and are going to respond to what you do. So, stress out. There we go. Oh, there's a Space Oddity. Okay, if I'm so smart, how do I do it? When I do it, how do I write a song? What I really want to get sort of across is that, again, while inspiration is important, it's not dependable. It's not reliable. If you want to be a writer, if you want to write songs, if you want to write anything, you have to come up with things to do when you're not inspired. And this is what I do. I've got a notebook. When I'm writing for an album, when I'm writing for a project, when I'm writing something for a commercial or for television or whatever, I started having writing sessions with myself. Every morning, or whenever I have time, I get my notebook. The first thing I do is I set a timer for 5 minutes or however long I have, and I write down every random word that I can think of. Okay? Start hard, every volume, blah, 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 blah. This is nonsense. This is not a song yet. Right? But as I write, I start to think of more words, more images. Then I go through, and I just pick out ones that I like. Right? So in this set, I liked Crimson, I liked Drifting, I liked Crucible. I was looking for things that resonated, that sounded kind of strong, that sounded kind of interesting, you know. Not that we're going to go anywhere, just words that I liked thinking about. Then I move on and I try and write some phrases, maybe based around those words, maybe not. Set a timer for 5 minutes, and then I start writing, right? Double greatness folding further past the light. That doesn't mean anything. It means absolutely nothing. It is a random phrase, kind of inspired by the words that I'd just written. Okay? Shifting shadows harness the light. Where's something that I really like? Damaged dragon ghost. Who knows what that means? I have no idea. Right? But then I go through and I find some ones that I like. So I like Further Past the Light. I like Sweet Shadows Calling Out. I don't know why. Just sounded good to me. Now that we've crossed the river, there is no turning back. Right? Every Inch of Shadows. I like the dragon one. You can see I circled them in my notebook. Then I take these, I turn the page, and I don't look at them again. And then I start just trying to write some lyrics. Right? Trying to connect these images into something that makes sense. And then I get, now that we've crossed the river, there is no turning back. Now that we've found the future, we must not lose the past. Look, opposites. Right? It's kind of catchy. Starts to pull you in a little bit, maybe. Now that we are together, let nothing come between. Now that the war is over, how will we get our blood by our own hands, by the turning wheel? That sounds a little grim, right? Who knows what I had for breakfast that day? Now that our fight is over, let us find our way. You know, so these are starting to look like lines of a song, maybe, right? And I got there by just kind of writing randomly and then starting to develop things. So, You know what? How do I move back a slide? There we go. Got about 3 minutes. Great. So we did this. We're here. And then it turns into this. Now that we've crossed the river, there is no turning back. Though we found the future, we must not lose the past. Now that we are together, let nothing come between. We are together now. Now we must build a city. We'll be golden light, amber towers turning. We'll embrace the sky. Now that we are together, let nothing come between. We are together now. So if you're lost somewhere in time, light is dark and dark is light. Draw a picture on your palm of where you are, and that's where I'll be. So like that. Anyway, that's your bell. Thank you very much. Sorry I went a little bit over.